Hey, what's going on? It's Mitch here, and welcome to today's video where we're going to talk about the closing sequence. So really how you can start to close more deals, really how you can frame your offers better and, get rid of these Me Too type offers or like these commoditized type offers that I see people offering in the marketplace. Really position it as a higher value for your prospect so it outweighs, like the upside outweighs the downside, and boom, it becomes a no-brainer and they buy. And this doesn't matter what you're selling, it doesn't matter. As long as you follow these principles. And this is primarily for phone sales, so if you're selling over the phone, then this is really going to help you. And I've done close to probably over 2,000 sales calls just this year alone. I was on the phone for like 9 months, 12 calls a day for like 6 days a week. And so I really know what it takes to close deals. Consistently closing about roughly like 25% is where I'm at. Some months, 40%, fluctuates 30%. But I found my medium, roughly, 1 in every 4 people I get on the phone with, I usually close. And so it's a pretty good close ratio. I mean, for some people, it may not be the greatest, but when you're pumping 12 calls a day on your calendar, it's pretty fucking good, in my opinion. So what I'm going to show you is how you can close more deals. So no matter what you're selling, no matter what industry you're in, I'm going to really show you the process. So I call this the closing sequence, and this is really going to be in the later half of the call when you're going into your pitch, what people call it. I call it prescription, which you're going to find out here. But I'm going to show you how to do that. And I also have another video that I'll link below called the pendulum. So this is the right before the pendulum. So this is what we're going to use. And if you want to refer back to that one's super valuable on how to handle objections, but also prevent them. So you can kind of gauge where the prospect's at and then actually prevent these sales objections from even coming up. So you can definitely check out that. I'll link it below. And before we dive in, I want you to like this video and subscribe. And if you want to see future videos like this. And yeah, let's dive in. So you can see here, maybe I'll just put this up a little bit. There you go. So this probably won't make any sense to you right now, but I'll break it down and zoom in so you can have a look. So this is the closing sequence that I used to close, multiple $100,000 a month in business, and what I train all my closers, all my clients to do. So here, I want to preface this by saying this is, again, in the later half of the call. This is like the pitch. But like I said, I call it prescription, and I'll break down each components. But the process here that you have when you get on the phone call. So like I said, this is for primarily sales calls and how you can close over the phone. And so the process that I do and that, kind of generic template that you kind of follow through, it's mostly like building blocks, not necessarily the words you say on a script. So I basically have building blocks or like pillars that I take people through, or what I call them like actual like almost like stage posts or checkpoints that you take them through. Or if you think about it like a train, you're taking them through the next cart in the train. You're kind of just taking them through, and you're taking them through the doors, and you're just keeping them through these parts here. And so that's kind of how you can use it as like a mental model, like a train, taking them through the different carts and bringing them towards the front of the train. So that's kind of how you can look at it as like a train, and you're just taking through these process. So the before this happens, so just to give you some context, you would get on the phone with them initially, and you'd build massive amounts of rapport. So right off the bat, build rapport with the prospect, really understand why are they on the call, what motivated them to get on the call, and then you want to kind of start to dive into, about their business. So dive into their business or whatever you're selling. It could be literally anything. It could be fitness, it could be health and wellness, it could be insurance, financial advisory products, it could be coaching, consulting, SaaS. It doesn't really matter, right? You want to dive into what they're doing, like what is it that they do, or why are they on the phone, or what's this person, tell me about this person, right? How much do they weigh, or, how much do they make in their business, right? So you really want to diagnose their current situation. So where are they at currently in their life? So you want to diagnose all those, and you want to kind of go into, where are they, where do they want to get to in the future, right? So what is their future state they want to be in? So in 6 months, a year, what's their lifetime goals? You really want to explore and like let this prospect start to dream and tell you all their future desires, like what they really want and why they want it. So dig deep into the why. Ask them, like, why do you want this? What's the big why behind it? What's the driving force, I like to say all the time. Really dig deep and really pierce your prospect and let them tell you. So, like I said, I don't want to go in too much depth in this because I have other videos in this, and I have a whole script and a full program on that. I'll link that below too if you want to check that out as well. But the process here is you're getting them a current situation, and you want to get quantifiable, if you can, quantifiable numbers so that you can quantify the ROI in here when we go back into selling the prospect. But also you want to start to diagnose their desired situation, so quantify that. And so you can get two isolated kind of things. Here they are. Here's where they want to get to. And then there's a gap. There's going to be a void. And that's why they're on the phone with you, so you can fill that void and position your offer as a vehicle to that void. And so that's what you're essentially going to do. And then you're going to get to a point in the call where you've thoroughly understand, you've diagnosed them like a doctor, you've thoroughly understood them. And then you're going to go into the prescription phase, which is your pitch. Again, prescription. And you're going to basically prescribe your solution to their problems and their desire, how they can achieve that desired future they just told you about. So that's what you're going to be doing here. And so before you go into the pitch, you're basically going to ask them for permission to share, which is going to be lining you right up for the pitch. And so you're going to say, okay, based on everything you told me here today, what exactly were you hoping to get from me from our call here today then? I like to say something along those lines, to words to those effect. And then they're going to say, well, I really want to learn more about this XYZ program or whatever they came to you on the phone for, right? And then you say, okay, well, I can definitely tell you about that if you want. And they're going to say, yeah, please do. And then boom, set you up for the pitch. So I call this prescription. Again, you're a doctor diagnosing their whole situation, their future, everything like that. So when we go into here, you're writing a prescription. It's like you just listen to the prospect. It's like you go to the doctor, right? And they're telling you, oh, how much do you weigh? Or they may weigh you, and then like getting these quantifiable numbers again. And then also they're going to ask you, like, you know, how's your exercise? Do you exercise often? How's your diet? All these things are going to be taking notes, and they're not going to say anything. You're just going to take notes, think, okay, and ask you another question, and keep doing that until they thoroughly understand your situation. They can diagnose your problem or your disease or whatever it could be, right? And then they're going to write a prescription. So here is where we're going to prescribe, and you want to have that doctor mentality, prescribing the solution to the problem or to their desire. So typically how I do it, I'm going to give you some good sauce right here that you can use. Usually what I do is I say, yeah, so basically I help this exact person, so whoever is on the phone, like, because different people are going to be like identify as different types of people. This is another key sauce moment right here for you guys. They're going to identify as different types of people, because like if you have an overall like niche in your mind, but then you say that to the prospect, but they're not like identify as that specific person, then it's going to be a disconnect. So you really want to focus on who this person identified as, and they're going to tell you who they identify as throughout the call. Or you should gauge, okay, this person is a blank. Because when you ask them, like, tell me a little bit about yourself, or tell me about your business, they're like, yeah, I run a X business, or I am a nurse, or, you know, all these things, or whatever it is of who you're selling to, they're going to say these things because that's their identity, their self-image. And self-image is a very powerful sales force that you can use to your advantage. And so what you want to do is you want to say, I help this person, this niche, or this person on the phone with me to solve their problem, which they told you, and get their desired result, so whatever they told you on the call as well, through your, I call it proprietary method. So it's different than everyone else. So I have another video about that proprietary method. I'll link it below again. You can check that out. Killer video again. But through your proprietary method, right? And it's going to be different than what everyone else is selling out there. So this is going to be basically a new mechanism in order to put new believability and new confidence, conviction to your prospect, you know, and stand out from everyone else out there that's selling similar offers or, you know, Me Too type shit, and you don't want to be selling or being categorized in the same league as them. So that's going to help you stand out. So I'll link that below as well. But then you're going to go into, and typically we work with clients that are in this exact situation. So you're going to describe the situation. Typically we work with clients that are describe what they just told you and that are suffering with this problem, and we help them to boom, hit them. This is where you're going to hit them with the kind of main points that they told you of how it can get them the result or solve a problem. So, and typically work with clients, explain how this is going to solve that problem or get that desired result, and basically the main features, or not main features, basically the main features of your offer and how they can benefit and overall get the transformation, which I'm going to talk about in more depth, but the transformation that they desire. So they just told you this desired future, they're going to elaborate on it if you really want to hammer them on that. Like, really ask probing questions, really thoroughly understand where do they want to get to and why. Why is key. Why do they want to do it? Because when sales objections come up, you can bring it up and you have that data point to really bring in that emotion, right? But here you want to basically describe the features and how it can benefit them, and then also achieve that overall future state that they want 6 months, a year from now, whatever, right? Say it's making $50,000 a month, and we help you to make $50,000 a month through our process. And then you just use silence, which I'll zoom in here a little bit more, like that. And then you use silence here, right? Where silence, you literally just stay silent. So like you say all this, so we help the niche to solve problem, get result through your proprietary method. And we typically work with clients in your exact situation. You're literally going to describe what they told you throughout the call. You're going to basically mirror it back to them. And we do that through these features to get you overall transformation through our method, silence. Or you could just leave it off at desire, the overall transformation that they want, specifically to the prospect. Boom. Stay silent. And now, the dynamics of the call, you were asking questions the entire call. Now, the prospect is going to start asking you questions, and that's why silence is key. So you just stay silent, and it's going to feel awkward for you, but the one who speaks the least closes the most. Print that out, put it on your wall, because that's another fucking sauce moment right there. And that right there, silence, you're going to feel awkward. They're going to feel awkward. You got to be comfortable with it. Because then the prospect's going to start talking, and they're going to trip up on their words, or they're going to start to have a thought that you can take and, start to position it in a different way. And this is the key here. Stay silent. Now the dynamics switch, because you were asking questions to them the entire time. Now, that's why I have these little arrows. Now they're going to start pulling from you. So you were asking, you're pulling from them. Now the roles switch and they're pulling from you. And now they're going to ask you about one of the features that you mentioned on how XYZ can get them the overall transformation, right? They're going to say, well, tell me about this. Like, for example, we do like LinkedIn automation. We have a sales process like you're learning right now. And so they'll be like, tell me about the LinkedIn automation, right? And so I'll be like, yeah, sure. That's a great question. So the LinkedIn automation, basically how it works is, and I'll kind of explain it, we basically automate the entire process of reaching out to prospects and generating them into qualified appointments. So you can just reach out to like decision makers without, manually prospecting. Because if they're manually prospecting right now, I'll say without manually prospecting, really just save time and really just book on qualified appointments in your calendar without spending any money on paid advertising. And I'll just stay silent again. And so I grabbed the feature, right, that they asked me about, and I related it into a benefit, right, of how it can solve a problem and get a desire. So that's why this is P and D, right? And maybe you can't see that, but I'll zoom it in for you. So that says F to benefit, and then P and D. So problem, desire, that stem off the benefit. So you're going to continue doing this until they thoroughly understand your product or service that you're offering. So you're not really selling, for example, a coaching program, or you're not really selling a course, or you're not really selling whatever you're selling. You're selling the overall transformation, but also like they're going to ask you about a feature, right? And then you're going to say, this is the feature, here's the benefit. So I said LinkedIn automation, that's a feature of our process or our program. And the benefit is save you time. And solve a problem is without prospecting, mainly prospecting, and get you a desired result, book qualified appointments on your calendar without spending any money on paid ads. Transformation, they won't book qualified appointments on their calendar without paid ads. Transformation. So I keep doing this, and overall they'll keep asking, and there'll be like multiple different features, and I just keep stemming off benefits and how it can solve a problem or desire that they told me throughout the call. That's why you ask those qualifying questions throughout to gather that data points and then boom, you just keep relating a feature, benefit, solve a problem, desire. You do that over and over again, and they'll ask you another question. Tell me about that. Then you basically explain the feature, the benefit of the feature, how it can solve a problem or get a desire, or their overall transformation. You continuously do that, and you just literally repeat it in a cycle. You're literally just looping back like this. You're just looping back, and the transformation, the overall transformation that they want, right? You're selling transformations. You're selling desired futures. You are literally the chronicler of your prospect's future. You're going to show them all the tomorrows, the next weeks, the next months that are in your prospect's trajectory that you can help satisfy and bring to them into actual physical reality, right? So you're going to continue to do this. And then there's going to become a point where you've told all the features, you've told the benefits, and solving a problem, desires, and the overall transformation. And now you have that conviction behind, you can actually get them this transformation. Now they're going to ask you, what's the price? So this is price. The price question, we all get it. And you want them to ask you price. So here, you're literally going to do this. You're going to do feature, benefit, all this stuff, and then you're going to use silence again. You're going to use silence. That's a shitty arrow, but you're going to use silence, and then they're going to start pulling things from you. So like when you stay silent, then the prospect's going to get to a state where like, okay, you're going to let it marinate. Most people talk them out of a sale. And here I'm telling you, don't talk at all. Let them talk to themselves, talk into a sale, right? And so you want to do this until this is a stage, right? And then you'll open up this door, right? And you'll go into this part where they'll ask the price. So you don't really just tell them the price. Let them ask it or pull it from you. And if they don't say anything here and you're silent, they're silent, stay silent. It could be 3 minutes. It doesn't matter. Stay silent. And then they're going to be like, so what's the next steps? I'm like, yeah, we can get you started right now if you want. And they're like, yeah, well, how does that work? I'm like, yeah, we just typically do credit card over the phone. And they're like, okay, well, how much is it? And then, boom, price, right? So you're not going to tell them the price. Maybe contrary to what you've already believed or what you think you need to do. But I don't tell them price. I let them pull it from me. And then we move into this part here, which is, maybe I can pull it like this. There you go. So now this part, you go into price. This is your offer. So your offer is, you're going to basically take the pieces of your offer, which are basically just these features that we talked about here, how these features or these things or these performances of your program can help them satisfy and ultimately deliver this transformation. So the transformation is the biggest key that I want you to take away, is you're selling desired futures. And when you swap and when you change to selling desired futures instead of fucking lead generation or whatever you're selling, that's when you're going to make a lot of money. And so transformation, you really want to identify this transformation and show them that this step, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, that is within your overall offering, which I call like a mechanism or your proprietary method, break it down into the components, how these things, so it's going to be like comprised of these components, how these stack up, so you're going to stack them on top of each other to ultimately achieve the desire, and then you're going to tell them, and it's X amount of, and it's 10K. And then you're going to use silence. Again. And so that's how you do it. And here, you want to, again, iterate on the byproducts that your product or service can deliver them. So that's like the benefits. The benefits that I'm talking about are byproducts. So you have to think about this too, is like the future that you're selling, this like tomorrow, this next week, this, next month, this, 90-day, whatever program, this future that you're delivering for your prospect, it may not, your product or service may not directly deliver on that. Like, it may not directly deliver on that. But the byproduct of what you're doing, like there's going to be byproducts that are going to be benefits to the prospect. So you're going to stack these byproducts, which are inevitably going to stack the value. They're going to start to think about all the things that this could do for them. if they had this, right? And again, that's why we want to get like quantifiable numbers too, is because we want to show them the upside versus the downside. This is like the asymmetrical, probably spelled that wrong, risk to reward ratio. So that's what we're showing them here. And so you're basically going to show them how this offer can stack up, and the price is minute compared to the benefit. So for example, if someone wants to make 50 grand a month, like my previous example, 10K to make 50 grand per month over a 12-month period, right? It's over 500 grand. So if you're showing the prospect, or 600 grand. So if you're selling a prospect on like it's 10K, but you're going to make $500,000 in 12 months, right? Obviously you can't, well, maybe you can guarantee certain things, but just the process there, 10K to make 500K, no brainer, right? And especially if you can maybe break those payments up, payment plan, who knows? But typically, if you do it right, you stack it up, this prospect, and you have conviction behind your words, and like they believe it to be true, you're going to close deals. And so you want to like show them this is the upward trajectory, or this asymmetry that they're going to achieve through going through this process. And again, you're selling them the desired future and whatever they told you. So if it's losing weight, if it's closing or getting more sales, getting more leads, getting more appointments, what are the byproducts of getting more leads? What is more leads going to do for them? It's going to help them have more opportunities to close deals, or even close more deals, or close higher ticket deals, right? So when if you're selling lead generation or whatever, what are the byproducts? If you're selling coaching, what's the byproducts of this? Especially, I know this is relevant for my mindset clients and health and wellness. What's the byproducts of how, if you help someone alleviate stress from their life, or help their personal relationships, it's going to reflect inside their business, and then they're going to make more money, right? So these are byproducts, and there's going to be an upside. And then from this point, you're going to refer to my video that I'm going to link below, which is the pendulum, and then they may have some objections here. Or they may say, okay, 10K, let's do it. Boom, close the deal. And so usually if you do this right, and you stay silent, you use all this stuff, when you say the price, you say the offer, you stay silent, at this point, the silence is the most important part. So if you're silent here, which I would preface, this is the most important part where you want to stay silent, just sit there in silence and let them marinate with the offer, and then they'll come up with they'll talk themselves into it. And even if they start talking, and I'll give you a little gem, another one, but if they start asking you, or if they start stating things, keyword stating, they're saying statements to you, right? And they say, man, like that's too much money, or like I don't know if I could do this. Don't say anything. Statements aren't questions. You only answer questions. And so if it doesn't satisfy you, if what they say doesn't satisfy you, just stay silent. I've said so many times where a prospect stated a statement which was an objection, and I just stayed silent, and they ended up talking themselves back into it and closing. And so that's what I would say. This video, watch it like 3, 4, 10 times, because this is really key. And then also watch my other video. That video is going to blow your mind as well. Between those two, you should be able to close deals, no problem. And if you want like more depth, you want a script to follow and a whole process and mentoring from me, you can click the link below. You can join my program. There's going to be a link to basically watch a free training, which I'm going into more depth on this, and then I'll link some stuff below there. But hopefully you got massive value from this. I'm telling you, if you do this, you're going to be at the knife's edge of the competition, because no one's doing this stuff, and quite frankly, no one even understands this process. But it's by doing over time that you're going to really start to get good at this. And if you start transitioning from, instead of selling products and services, like you're not selling what you're selling desired futures. You're selling transformations. If you can nail that in your head, that's all you can think about, and you're just placing these things in front of them and how they're going to get this desired future, and you keep looping back and showing them how you can do that, you're going to close deals, and your income is going to skyrocket, your close ratio is going to skyrocket. And if you want to fill your calendars, I can show you how to do that as well. So you can click the link below, and there's some stuff in there. But again, like I said, watch this video like 10 times. It's really going to provide you some massive value. And watch my other couple videos that I'm going to link below. Those, again, are going to really, really help you out. So hopefully you found massive value into it. Again, subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos like this. I release one of these almost every single week. And so you can stay up to date. Click that like button, maybe even hit that bell. I think people do these days. That'll notify you the next time I have a video. And yeah, if you have any key takeaways or aha moments, anything like that, comment below. I reply to all the comments, and I'll be sure to reply to you. And yeah, like always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk soon.